The following is a production of Jenks FM. Thank you for your support. You're listening to Football Unscripted with Jenks.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Football Unscripted with me, Jenks. Today we're going to look ahead at the A-League semi-finals with Auckland FC taking on Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City to take on Western United. Auckland FC and Melbourne City both had the weekend off after finishing in the top two. And Western United had to get past Adelaide. Also, Melbourne Victory got the win against Western Sydney Wanderers. It'll be all Victoria first leg of the semi-finals, where Western United will be the designated home team against Melbourne City at Amy Park, and Melbourne Victory will be the designated home team in the first leg, also at Amy Park. Amy Park is the home of Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory, and for the bigger games, Western United will play their matches at Amy Park too. Their usual stadium is too small, so they will look to get in bigger crowds and more money through the turnstiles when they take on their neighbours, Melbourne City. Western United, they had a very good season. They just fell off a little bit at the end. But because they got that victory against Auckland FC on the last game of the season, that put them into third. And that will allow Western United to potentially play Auckland FC in the final as they are the highest placed playoff team. Auckland FC, they had a bit of an off game on their last game of the season. They lost to Western United 4-2. They had their regular team out on the field, but probably missing a lot of focus and direction following the previous weekend where they lifted the Premier's Plate. Auckland FC, they won the Premier's Plate in their very first season. They now look to move on and progress to the final, where they can be the champions of the A-League. Melbourne Victory, who will be taking on Auckland FC next weekend, they overcame Western Sydney Wanderers. Western Sydney Wanderers were on a great run. They were looking favourites to go through, and it would have been a great clash for Auckland FC to take on Western Sydney Wanderers. But instead, Melbourne Victory did what they do best, and they came out on top in finals football. Melbourne Victory, they are the second most successful A-League team. They were part of the inaugural season in 05-06, along with 7 other clubs, the most successful being Sydney FC. So Western United, they play their first home game against Melbourne City, and then they switch around in the changing rooms, but in the same stadium for the following week for a place in the final. Auckland FC, they'll be looking to get their focus back into the game, and they'll be wanting to leave Melbourne with at least a draw. Coming back to Mount Smart, we drew with Melbourne Victory in the season at Mount Smart, and I think we beat them. We beat them at Amy Park. Pretty sure. I'll need to double check on the historic results there. But I feel it's a better tie for Auckland FC to come up against Melbourne Victory than it is Western Sydney Wanderers. I see a lot more danger in the Western Sydney Wanderers, and with Victory, I believe we can get past them, and then set up a final with either Western United, who have beaten us twice in the regular season. They've put 6 goals past us. We beat them at their place. But that could be a very good match for Auckland FC. Against Melbourne City, Melbourne City, they finished off the season extremely strong. They were always hovering in and around the playoffs places 3rd to 6th. And yeah, they managed to finish in the top two. Auckland FC, no major injuries have been announced just yet. The first game will be this coming Saturday. That is Saturday the 17th at Amy Park. Amy Park, it holds 30,000 seats. There'll be a back-to-back double-header for Amy Park, hosting the Friday night and the Saturday night semi-finals. The following week, Auckland will be at their home ground, Mount Smart, Go Media Stadium, where they'll take on Melbourne Victory. The attendance at Mount Smart, they have 25,000 seats, but for the finals, they are going to add an extra 2,700 seats to take that up to 27,700. And should they make it to the final, they're going to throw in an extra 800 seats. I'm not sure why they don't just put those 800 in for the semi-finals. And that'll take it to 28,500 seats for a potential grand final in Auckland. So it has been confirmed now that Mount Smart Stadium, Go Media, will host the final of the A-League should Auckland FC get there. There was a little bit of debate, and in a previous podcast there was discussions around would it be in Eden Park, which hosts a much bigger crowd, or could it even be in Australia, because traditionally finals were played in Australia. It's up down to the A-League, but I believe a few years back there was a rule change where the premiers, or the highest placed league team, will choose the location of the final. And that is, I'm very happy to say, going to be Mount Smart, the home of the whole season. We can fill that up, make a big noise, make a hell of an occasion. But yeah, first we've got to get past Melbourne Victory. As I said earlier in the podcast, they are a finals team. They know how to grind out. They're like the Germany of the World Cup. They just managed to do it right when it comes down to the knockout stages, to the finals. And Melbourne Victory, they're going to be a tough opposition. But I believe we can get past them. I really believe we can get past them. And the final will be, but Melbourne City or Western. Which one would I prefer out of those two? Western United have had the better results against us than Melbourne City. We drew away 2-2 at Melbourne City, and when we played them at home, I think we won. I'm pretty sure we won that game. I'll have to check. I should have got my facts ready, shouldn't I? Anyway, looking forward to the semi-finals next weekend. For the away game, Melbourne Victory at home to Auckland. The square in Auckland downtown by Britomart, they are having an outdoor big screen and special event. It's a free event. You need tickets, but you got to sign up so they can control the numbers. And that's going to be a 9:30 local kickoff. Well, 9:30 Auckland kickoff, which will be 7:30 local in Melbourne kickoff. So a bit of a late night for people to watch some footy in the city centre. That'll be a great time, great atmosphere. Hopefully numbers will be pretty as well. And yeah, I'll do my best to get there, work permitting. And then the following weekend will be the showdown at Mount Smart on the 24th. The final will be the weekend after that, the 31st. Saturday the 31st. Could potentially be Sunday the 1st. There's a few dates rolling around, so it's going to be one or the other. Also, the news coming out from the Wrexham preseason tour down under is that Auckland FC might not be the team that will be facing Wrexham. It looks like Wellington Phoenix might get those honours with a game probably at the Cake Tin down in Wellington. Phoenix have got a bit of a history of playing touring teams. They've played against LA Galaxy, which featured David Beckham in 2007. They've also played against, I believe, Newcastle United and West Ham United, I believe. So yeah, a little bit disappointed to hear the news that it's looking likely it will be Wellington Phoenix instead of Auckland FC, but all the more reason to go there and wear a Wrexham shirt and cheer Wrexham against the Phoenix. Looking forward to the confirmation of these matches. It still has not been confirmed by Wrexham, by Wellington Phoenix. We're waiting for club confirmation, dates to be set, and we'll see how it's all going to fit in. All we do know is that the most prominent fixture will be the game against Melbourne Victory, where Wrexham will take them on at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne before moving on to Perth, Sydney and New Zealand. So a potential 4-match preseason for Wrexham down under. The Wrexham players, they are now celebrating. They have had promotion to the Championship, back-to-back promotions, going from the National League up to the Championship. And Wrexham are now in their post-season Las Vegas reward, which they've done for the past 3 seasons, following those past 3 promotions. Before the players will go on personal holidays and then get ready for a pre-season to enter the Championship. The Championship, if you're not familiar, is the second tier of English football. And the last time that Wrexham were in the second tier was 42, 43 years ago. So there have been a couple of generations that have missed out on Wrexham being at this level. So it's huge, absolutely huge for the town of Wrexham, the club, the supporters, the team. So they'll look for a successful pre-season tour down under. We'll wait and see till those fixtures come out, and it's looking likely now. Melbourne Victory, Wellington Phoenix, one of the Sydney teams. Don't know yet, but my guess my money would be on Sydney FC. And then they could play another touring team, possibly in Perth. That's what I reckon is going to happen at Optus Stadium. Really nice stadium, Optus Stadium over in Perth. They hold 60,000. And that's all we have for today's podcast. Thank you very much for listening or watching. We're on Spotify and YouTube. Please subscribe and let me know in any comments, anything you'd like to be covered in the next podcast. If you've got any comments on what has been discussed today, I look forward to that engagement and getting back to you next time. Up the port, and good luck to Auckland FC in the semi-finals against Melbourne Victory.
Jenks FM 109.2.